Yes, people, we're back again. 12th man's back. Guna to Guna's back. It's me and Deluded in the house. And it's been a good week, DG. You got a smile on your face. We're buzzing from both legs of the game. I was only just about over the first leg. We've got the second leg to talk about. We can probably touch on the first as well. The Champions League. We right now have smiles on our faces because we're still in it. It's the semi-finals. Last time we did that was 2009. Believe it or not, back then we had a much younger squad than we do now even.
Yeah.
And it's quite crazy to think that stat and see that stat, but we're buzzing. We're happy. We're here to talk about it, people. Make sure you do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you click on the link in the title to Deluded's channel and get him up to his next target as well by hitting subscribe and following his content. DG, before we get into all of it, how are you feeling right now as an Arsenal fan, man? You got one of my favorite away shirts on, or my favorite away shirt on. You're smiling. I'm smiling. It's a good time to be an Arsenal fan, bro.
It's a good time to be an Arsenal fan. It's a mad life that we live as Arsenal fans. 2-3 weeks ago, we were not like this. Good result against Real Madrid ×2 and the manner of what we've done it, and we're happy. And as I was saying to you before we started, like, you kind of need to keep your feet on the ground, but you want to ultimately be proud about your team. You want to see your team, regardless of what they say about an opposition, in Madrid's case, stand up tall. And if you do that, anything can happen. And I'm sure we'll get onto it, but we're at least 2 games away from a potential final. And it's been a testing season, but at least that can right some wrongs, man. And ultimately just put a smile on our faces, man. So yeah, man, happy to speak Arsenal, man.
Well, it's nice when we can talk Arsenal finally after a win, but when we've got a win of this magnitude, I think it is right up there for us to talk about it. I wanted to, from the off, ask you this. Where does this stand for you in terms of Mikel Arteta's current achievements at Arsenal? And when I say achievements, I don't mean trophies. I mean overall as a manager. He's obviously won the FA Cup, and that will be very high, if not the top. But this is right up there for me. So where do you put it in terms of getting Real Madrid home and away and doing the job on them, mate?
I mean, if we exclude the fact that, he's obviously won the FA Cup, which is a trophy, etc., etc. Mikel Arteta said in the press conference, the Community Shields, I don't necessarily count that, but isolated from the trophies, isolated to a 2-legged tie for a team that struggles in Europe, for a manager that struggled in Europe, this is the pinnacle. The only way to do better is to do this again or to win a trophy, man. Like, it's amazing. Like, obviously, people are doing that. It's not the best Madrid side and all of this. And kind of what we did to them has been on brand with their season. By the end of the day, for all the question marks they still have Carlo Ancelotti. They've still got numerous stars. We had Kivio out there. We've got a young but talented Lewis-Skelly. We've got a depleted side. And look how we did it across the 2 legs. Look how we took our chances. Look at the quality of the goals. Look how we reacted to setbacks. Me and you have been supporting Arsenal a long time. In the first leg, there was a couple of stray passes. Players normally crumble. We have seen Saliba drop a clanger in terms of that mistake. Had a good game, but that mistake. We've seen Saka miss a penalty and still obviously score. So it speaks volumes of our mentality. Dan, I can't lie. It is probably the pinnacle so far of what he's done. Like, you've given us the best European night in the Emirates Stadium at this moment in time. And then you topped it with what you did at the Bernabeu. And I liked how Mikel Arteta did his thing, but I also like the players. You watched the game. You saw Jude Bellingham and Rudiger and all the antics. They stood up tall. Normally our players react, which Partey did, or normally in other aspects, our players crumble. So, yeah, man, I think the biggest thing, I've said this to you before, that I've liked about Mikel Arteta is you've made us competitive against the top 6. Like, them games used to be a write-off. So I did expect us to have this kind of stuff. But then when you go and take it abroad, it's amazing. Like, this is up there, man. The only thing that will top this is winning trophies now. Definitely
Facts,
up there.
Man. Facts, man. Look, Ian's put a comment in saying, I've seen the narrative that if Arsenal don't go on to win the tournament after beating Madrid, it doesn't mean anything. And he says it might be one of the saltiest takes he's ever heard.
Facts.
Now, I want to put some context on this, man, because, look, I appreciate that people can't get too cocky like we've won a trophy. And I appreciate there's still a long way to go. But you can't take away the achievement across 2 legs of not just getting through against Real Madrid, which most people would have said, well, fair play, Arsenal won the tie 2-1. We obliterated them by scoring 5 goals to 1 on aggregate. And the goal that we actually gave them was pretty much put on a plate to them, unfortunately, by a mistake that is quite rare by Saliba. So what do you make to the comments about this? Because I've seen this quite a lot. Oh, go and win it, otherwise it don't mean nothing. No. You're right. It doesn't mean we've won the Champions League, but we've gone through this tie where no one give us any hope in hell. We've got no Gabriel. We've got an 18-year-old left-back, who, by the way, has been phenomenal. We've got a half-fit Saka, an underperforming Odegaard. Martinelli, who people have said have fallen off a cliff. We've got a midfielder that we bought in for £30 million. That's now our centre-forward. Bro, the odds were against us, man.
The odds were against us, Dan, man. You said it there. Obviously, in terms of that, big up Ian, but that comment is what he's referring to. Is clearly coming from outsiders. They never want to give Arsenal their flowers. They're obviously going to say that. And unfortunately, things are too white and black in football. Of course, if we don't go and win the trophy, this is just another great day and a great night and whatnot. But we've also got to remember, like, a lot of these players and our manager, last year was their first time in the Champions League. They've learned their lessons from that, applied it, and done very well. Of course, you want to go and win silverware and put something in the cabinet, but you can't say it doesn't mean anything. It shows us what we could do if we just make this a consistent basis. So I don't, like you said, Dan, people didn't give us a chance. Now all of a sudden Real Madrid are rubbish. Now if you win, it doesn't mean anything. I think most football fans, let alone your football club, when you get away from the laughing and the banter, you'll give Arsenal their plaudits for what they did in that 180 minutes. But it'd be harsh not to go and win it now, man, Dan. I'm sure everyone would agree, man, to do what we did against Madrid. And also where the Premier League's concerned, to batter Man City 5-1, we need to somehow create some history now, put something in the cabinet. But it is salty, Dan, man. It's mad salty.
It is, and rival fans will never give us any credit. And you know what?
Exactly.
I don't want them to, man. I don't want them to be fake. Do you know what I mean? I don't want them to come up and say,
Who wants their credit anyways, man?
They're never going to, man. Like the amount of people that still said after 3-0, I ain't giving them any credit. They ain't won it yet. And then when we go through, oh, well, it's a dusty Real Madrid side. What do you expect? Why did you not think we'd win then? It wasn't a dusty side when we drew them, yeah? It wasn't a dusty Real Madrid side that's finished, that's got a washed manager, that's got to be sacked now, that can't win a game. They've got a front three that can't connect with each other. Rah, rah, rah.
Exactly.
Now, I never wasn't hearing this when we drew them. I wasn't hearing this in the kickoff to the first leg, and everyone was doing hate-alongs, going, "Oh my god, I can't wait for them to cook."
They thought they were feasting, man.
Bruv, this been one of the best hate-alongs to watch, because for me, and I know these people very well. I know you do too. They're all watching it, rubbing their hands together. Oh, it's 3-0. Right. They'll if there's any team will do it, they'll bottle it. Let's do another hate-along, and all of a sudden we win that game as well, man. So look, they've got to hold that. They've got to seriously hold that as well. Because look, there's Arsenal fans that doubted we get through. I was one of them. I didn't think
I was pessimistic.
Real Madrid.
It's Real Madrid.
I was very pessimistic. It's Real Madrid. Nobody give us a chance. Those
credit where due.
I knew we'd get through. They're kind of lying, right? They're trying to be positive, and it's hoping I get it, and I admire it. And I wish I was a little bit more like that. But come on, man, I don't think anyone can deny what we've done across 2 legs there, bro.
Exactly, like you said, nobody can deny it. Like, even if you thought Arsenal would go through, there's probably like 1 or up to anything from 1 to 10 Arsenal fans out of the millions that support us that would have went for 3-0. Even if you did think we was going to win. And again, in a sense, this is why we love football. Football's illogical. Yeah, you could expect us to not necessarily get battered, to compete and everything. But you look at Real Madrid versus Arsenal, you can't begrudge people for not necessarily not giving Arsenal a chance, but thinking Madrid would win. And we flipped it on its head. You know, again, we're missing several key players, as you said. Madrid are in a poor run of form, but you look at their 11 and you look at ours, you have to give credit where due. And like you said, rival fans are salty. I would say for rival fans, and well, for Arsenal, we need to keep our feet on the ground, innit? But for rival fans, it's like a joke that's gone too far. Like, you didn't think Arsenal was going to be serious in the Champions League. We've dealt with PSV. We're obviously dealing with Real Madrid. I'm sure we'll get onto it, but we're going to speak about PSG. So yeah, it's like a joke for rival fans that is going too far, Dan. Like, we are 180 minutes better yet away from being in another final. And I want Barcelona, but again, feet on the ground. We need to deal with PSG first. But in conclusion, like, forget what the rival fans have to say. They're not going to rate us. Even if we were to go all the way and win the Champions League, what they're going to say, oh, it's the new competition with the league phase. It's taking you so long to do it. And then they're going to call us bottlers. So it is what it is, man. Let's just try. We've spoken about this before. For me, clearly the league's a write-off. Let's just get behind the team and everyone and see what we can do in Europe, man. And then if we win it, we win it. If not, back to the drawing board, innit? And suitable questions have to arrive.
Yeah, look, I've got to be real with you. I don't think many people had us going through, and now that we are there, I kind of can't quite believe that it was so comfortable across aggregate. If I'm honest with you, bruv.
Crazy, isn't it?
Man, it's unbelievable. Look, the scenes are insane out there. The scenes are brilliant. Where I was at Box Park, I've seen all the watch-alongs. I've watched all the content, and that's what I do. I like watch a lot of content anyway. Of course, the people that I like and support and have supported my channel, but I look at how people are right now, and this is what we've wanted for so long, man, to get into a position where we can genuinely believe that we can go all the way. And before we go into the actual game and the players itself, I want to ask you your thoughts on that. You know, I know it's one game at a time, and I appreciate it's one team to concentrate on now at PSG, but you kind of look at the other teams in it generally and think that this really is quite odds and even now. I don't believe there's a team that's out there that's definitely won this. I don't look at the moment and think that Inter Milan are easy to beat. Barcelona are scary going forward. We've just seen what PSG can do against Liverpool and Villa, against other English clubs that we struggled against personally in the Premier League. So this is going to be tough. But where are you at with these 4 teams, bro?
I think everybody's got a right to believe they can win it, man. I'd say for me personally, Inter's the one that I want to go out. Like, I think Barca and Inter are going to play each other. I want Inter to go out. I just feel the low blocks, the deep blocks, that's almost like a kryptonite for us. I think, they play with 2 strikers, which isn't really a commonality in Europe. And I just think there's something about them, really, I've seen against Bayern. But we should believe we can compete against them. We went to the San Siro and it was a dodgy penalty. Obviously, for Arsenal, we might be the new kids on the block. This is new territory to our manager and these players. We ain't been at this stage since 2009, but we've put a statement out. Whatever people have to say, we dumped out Real Madrid. So I wouldn't say we're the favourites, but that could be defined as a favourite. We've all seen, and me and you have spoken about Barcelona generally. Like, Hansi Flick is playing great football. I don't think they were amazing in the second leg against Dortmund. Maybe a bit of complacency. I feel with that high line, it'd be an interesting one. PSG is the one that a lot of fans want to see us play, because obviously we're going to play them, but we've played them before, we've beat them before. Enrique and Arteta are quite similar, it's quite systemic. Our wingers do a lot of tracking back defensively, and they're definitely going to need to do that against PSG. But everyone's a favourite in their own right, and for me, it's about seizing the present moment. Whether we expect it to be in this scenario or not is another thing, but we've got an opportunity here. And if you compete against PSG kind of with the same mindset that you did against Madrid, of course, no 2 games are the same. But there's a final there. And then, as you know, it's just a straight shootout. If you want it, bring it home. But I think like you said there, it's all fairly even. And to be fair, I don't want to say it's a new Champions League, but kind of a new Champions League in this format. It's quite good, isn't it, really? 4 very good sides left.
Gotta be honest, I think the Champions League this year has been fantastic. And I'm not saying that just because I'm in the semi-final and my team's here and there. I want to say that I think the new format was definitely poo-pooed by myself and others, because I was just like, what is this league table thing? What we're doing? This is just going to be a European Super League, and they're testing it.
I was dissing it as well.
Of course, I loved it. I got to say, because I was looking at the league table thinking, actually, last few years I've been in this competition, I've been looking at 3 teams. And that's it, just in my group. I don't care about the others yet until we face them in the last 16. All of a sudden, it's like, hang on a minute, there's a table of 8 here that we've really got to get into. I enjoyed that. Yeah, and do you know what, bruv? I think this season, fair play, hats off to us, because we've done very well in that competition so far. Like, not just because we're at the semis. If you look at the group stages, I think we've only conceded a couple of goals. I think it's, 4 or 5 goals that we've conceded?
We're faultless in it.
It's been unbelievable. And I think we've got a great chance. I think PSG likewise have. I think the way Barca play is very dangerous. And I think the Inter Milan are very, very tough to beat. I'm with you about Milan. I think Inter Milan are being slept on. I think what Simone Inzaghi does there is make it very difficult for teams to break them down and beat them. Barcelona can be got out at the back, as can PSG, but going forward, they're frightening.
Yeah.
It could be exciting, bro. It could be a really exciting tournament. But look, man, before we go too far ahead, I will ask you on PSG in a bit. We've got to look back, bro, because that performance was outstanding. I want to ask you to kind of name the players that impressed you on the pitch in the Arsenal side.
What, in the second leg or the first leg, or in general?
Well, we'll go to the second leg because I think we touched on the first one on your channel. So we'll start with the recent. I mean, Declan Rice across both legs was outstanding, but certainly there's more than that in this second leg, man, that impressed me. But I'll let you go, man. What you say?
I mean, easy way to start. The 2 fullbacks, Miles Lewis-Skelly, amazing. Like, it's almost boring talking about the 2 fullbacks. Miles Lewis-Skelly, you just keep doing what you're doing, and again, I say it all the time, but this man's been in our first team 8-9 months, and to see what he's done against Real Madrid twice now at the Bernabeu, even rattling the fans, dribbling past whole heap of players, keeping his nerves as well, even when Rudiger's stamping on his bollocks or his belly, whatever he's doing, how he got away with that, I don't know. What a player is Yuri and Timber is, just a real 1v1 defensive monster, relishes it, doesn't give his wingers an inch. Don't really want to be talking about if he's the best in the world or any of this stuff, but I genuinely think 2 years, 3 years, we're going to have those conversations. For me, he's already at least in the top bracket of right-sided fullbacks in the world. You can't really name a stronger 1v1 fullback than Timber. He's obviously doing well post-ACL. You've got to big up Kivior, because if, the Saliba mistake, Saliba was good as well. Obviously, he dropped a clanger and all of that, but he was great. If anybody expected that sort of mistake, it would have been probably from Kivior. Kivior has stood tall. What else have we got? Mikel Merino did his thing, got a couple of assists, obviously, against Madrid. I have to big him up. Declan Rice is Declan Rice. I know we spoke about the first leg, but I preferred the performance in the second leg. Obviously, he scored them 2 great free kicks, but I think this was more professional. And he's 1 minute he's in their half, and then he's mopping up. He's just doing what he's doing, even when he's telling Partey to chill out. Thomas Partey, big him up as well. Of course, the only dampener on his performance is his heart was in the right place, because Rudiger's being a bit of an idiot. I think he reacted, but he's now out the PSG game. So shout out to him. Martinelli for helping Lewis-Skelly and obviously getting the goal as well. And Martinelli's been in line with a lot of criticism. Bukayo Saka, for me, I've seen a mentality shift in Bukayo Saka now. What I mean by that is, it's like he believes, it's not that he doesn't have self-belief, but it's like, yeah, I'm here now. I don't care about Rodrigo and Vinicius and all these guys and whatnot. I'm in the same bracket as them. And I know it's a bit of a fun and joke and whatnot, but I like the audacity from him to try and penenka that penalty. Of course, in other scenarios, can we hit that properly? But to not cry about it and just to keep going, Saka is Saka. Who else is there? I think that's, Odegaard did better in the second half, but it's kind of the same old about Odegaard. I don't want to create a pylon because it was a good team performance, but yeah, man, I guess everybody did their thing, man. I'll be real. I think everybody deserves their flowers, man. But if I had to highlight something, it'd be the 2 fullbacks and obviously Declan Rice, and mainly because he's out of position. We've become accustomed to seeing centre mids play up front, but Mikel Merino did his thing, man, without a doubt. Good performance, man.
Let me come into that a bit more, because for me, I want to start with Mikel Merino. And I'm glad you mentioned him and ended on him, because when I heard he was going up front, I was devastated. And it wasn't because I'd seen him play there and knew he was trash. It was nothing like that. I've never seen him play there. It was because I was like, really? We're not going to buy a January.
You just want a normal striker.
Get this guy in and put him up top when he's supposed to be coming in midfield. Right. Let me say this. And I said it last night, and I truly mean it when I say this. I think he's better than Kai Havertz for us up top. Now, I'll tell you why I think that. It's not because I hate on Kai, because I actually think there's a place for Kai Havertz at Arsenal in the squad, right? I honestly believe what Merino brings to us is actually a lot more. Now, I think that he has better finishing ability. I think he's better aerially. I think he's just as good physically. I think he works just as hard. I think he, in terms of the stats, looks just as good as Kai. If you look at a 10-11 game period, I think it's 6 goals, 2 assists the other night. I've been really impressed with Mikel Merino, man. And I'm not saying keep him up top. I'm not saying we don't need a striker. We definitely do, right? However, I think he's gone under the radar and been kind of underappreciated how well he's done in that role, DG. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, bro.
100%, man. And the first thing I would say is I'm happy for Merino, because obviously there's been a lot of hyper opinions about Merino since he signed for the club. He's been injured and he's given a good go of it up front. Now he's looked above all, he's got confidence. Like, he's doing his thing. He's clearly getting trust in himself and his teammates. It's always nice to score and assist and win games. He's doing his thing, really. Now, it's interesting you mentioned Kai Havertz, because I think I speak for you and every Arsenal fan. Like, cool, if we need them to deputize up front, great. But can we just sign a striker? I do think like you said, I do think we need a role for Havertz. But I would say the thing that I think separates Merino and Kai is Merino's just more cultured on the ball. He's got a bit more about him technically and things like that. So it does raise in question, did we overrate? And I'm not trying to pile on Kai, because he's done it for a longer period of time and all of those things. But did people overestimate Kai Havertz's contributions up front? And what sort of striker does Mikel Arteta need? Because we've seen Kai play up front, we've seen Merino play up front, we've seen Eddie, we've seen Jesus. None of them could be defined as clinical, but they can all quote unquote do the other bits and pieces. I'm happy for Merino, and at this day and age, then, as you know, when you've got injuries and where we've been in the Prem, any player that wants to turn it on and be in form, we need to ride that momentum until the wheels fall off. So long may it continue for Merino, man. And it's nice for him, because his career at Arsenal did not start well. So long may it continue. And I agree with you about the finishing. I always think about the Leicester finish. I don't think Kai Havertz scores that, whatever one it was, where it's come on his right peg and he's finished that. I don't think he scores the one against Madrid at the Emirates. But big up Merino, man. We need that.
Facts.
He might even play midfield against PSG, but I know we'll get onto it.
Like, if I'm honest, bro, I think the finish against Real Madrid is underappreciated.
Underrated.
And I don't think people, if I'm honest with you, understand how important that goal was, particularly going to the Bernabeu. And I know that we scored first and it was incredible, and the penalty decisions will come on to. But for me, that third goal made it even more comfortable going to the Bernabeu. And we know how crazy it is at the Bernabeu, right? So he deserves credit big time. The other player I wanted to mention was our star boy, because Obviously, it was a penalty. Then it was the goal. It was kind of make up for the miss. His performance was outstanding. And he's come back from a hamstring injury, and people were questioning whether he was fit enough, what it was going to be like. Is it going to be the same Saka? I think he's come back unbelievably strong. What did you make of the penalty that you didn't kind of mention it? Was you disappointed? And what did you make of his finish, man?
I mean, on another day, Bukayo Saka, I'd be livid, just hit it properly. But I do like the confidence in it to try and do the pinnacle thing. As he kind of said, if it works, you're a genius. If it doesn't, you're a bit of an idiot. And it's nice to have a laugh and a joke, because there's another reality where Saliba makes his mistake, Saka misses his penalty, and we don't finish our chances or our dinner in the first leg, and we might be looking at it differently. I like the fact with Saka, because I think there's been a mentality shift with Saka in that he's always had self-confidence, clearly, but it's like, I believe that I am the talisman. I can kind of do what I want in the most humblest way. Had a great game. He could have felt sorry for himself. He won fouls. He got up whenever they kicked him. Obviously, he scored a dink at the Bernabeu, and it was reminiscent between him and Martinelli. Saka's amazing, and like you said there, like, the man's, I couldn't tell you his fitness level, but he doesn't. I wouldn't say he's fully fit. This is an all-timer of a season from Bukayo Saka. He started the season well, obviously missed out for 3 months. He's back like he's never left. Like, true, nothing but praise for Bukayo Saka. Seriously, man. Like, very good player, very good season. And again, a lot of us were scared about the hamstring and whatnot. And God forbid there's no setbacks, but when we've seen like Tomiyasu or Jesus rush back, we've drew them out and whatnot. So we have to give the club credit. Whatever they've done to keep Saka fit and get him prepared for this Madrid game, he's done it very well, man. Like, credit to Bukayo. But we're used to this. And do you know what I like with it? Sorry to cut you, Dan. I know I spoke about rival fans. They finally just have to shut up and acknowledge that Saka is world class. I know you saw Rio Ferdinand's comments. You just have to accept it now.
Bruv, there's so many rivals that are giving this guy stick, and I do not understand it and never have. You can't not love Bukayo Saka as a person. You can't not appreciate him as a footballer. I don't care if people aren't saying he's the best right winger in the world, but I don't know why people have disrespected him to say that he's not at least the best 5 top 3 in his position in world football.
100%.
Honestly, I just don't get it, fam. So that's where I'm at. Look, I was devastated with the penalty and the way that he took it, because it was out of character. He's normally one that just makes sure of it. If you miss it, you saved it, you hit the post, you hit it wide, fair play. But for me, as disappointed as it would be to miss it at any point, when you're trying to be cocky like that and arrogant, I kind of like it and appreciate that he's got belief in himself, but you have to score that. You have to put it down the middle. You can't go wide, not against Courtois. And unfortunately, yeah, his head went down and thought, what have I done? But his head didn't stay down for long, because that finish was outstanding, by the way. Marino's ball is underappreciated. It's absolutely superb weight of pass. And the little dink and the confidence for him to do that off the back of missing a penalty, fair play, man. I think he deserves all the plaudits. I think he's been outstanding. Right. And if we are going to go on and win this, we're going to need him fully fit, mate, because he's been outstanding. But I wanted to take you over the other side, because one player that's got a lot of stick and has kind of dropped off his form in the last, 18 months is Martinelli. And you know what, brother? I've been so impressed with him of late. And that performance the other night was one of my most pleasing, because he was direct. He was taking on his man. He was not doing anything silly. Everything that we did going forward was a threat. And his goal and that finish was cold, bruv.
Absolutely top class, Stan, man. Absolutely. And I mean, Martinelli needs it. In the last 3-4 games, I don't want to say he's turned his form around, because, the last couple of years and this season in particular, it's been start-stop for Martinelli. Obviously, he's been injured. Lovely to see, man. Martinelli in open space on the transition. How many times has he scored those type of goals where he makes that run from his own half and then obviously does what he needed to do? He had a great performance. He put in a defensive shift. I don't think Martinelli is, the bee's knees and amazing and whatnot, but he is. I mean, I do think his mentality is there. I do think he's on the big games, and you can tell he's got a fantastic attitude. He never stops working. As someone put in the chat there, he nutmegged Hendrick. He was doing some skills on the left-hand side. It's nice to see him growing in confidence, man. Like, big up Martinelli, man. Like, I just still think we need a left winger, but it's nice to see it, man. Nice to see it. What's that? 3-4 games now, give or take, with the Brentford one. He's done all right,
bruv. I've been trying to remain positive for Martinelli. I don't want to go down. I don't want to be that guy who says, I think it is time now to move him on. I've never wanted to be that guy. And you know what? I am quite honest with players, even if I like them. Kieran Tierney. I like Kieran Tierney. I've always liked Kieran Tierney. I appreciate he's got to be moved on. I appreciate he's potentially going to have to be moved on and revive his career. I don't want to say the same about Martinelli because I see so much talent there. I don't think he's developed into the player that I kind of wanted him to.
Same.
But if I'm honest with you, I really need to see these consistent performances now, because this is reminding me of the form that we saw when Martinelli first burst onto the scene. That finish was very similar to the likes of those goals that he scored against Chelsea when he was dribbling past everybody. The goal that he
Villa a
scored
couple years ago.
couple years ago as Villa. These are the sort of goals I recognize with Martinelli, and I really want to see this guy blossom again, because it looks like Trossard might not have a long-term future here, even if he does stay in his 30s now. Martinelli, I know people might want an upgrade, and I'm not against having an upgrade and some competition for him, but I do think there's a place for him in this squad, man. So I'm glad that we are appreciating his performance, because I thought he was great. And to be honest with you, DG, I thought he was good in the first leg as well, man.
Yeah,
I thought he was great. So look, that first three is that front three, deserved a massive amount of credit over that across that two legs, but particularly at the Bernabeu, because it's very different playing there than the Emirates. So I'm glad that we give them their credit, man. But let me come down a little bit to Odegaard's performance, because as much as I didn't think he was a shambles like some are saying, thought he improved in the second half. Do you know what it is with him, bruv? It's not even the captaincy and the leadership stuff that I'm interested in too much. Like, I personally prefer Gabriel and Rice, but I'm not going to go down that road because he ain't going to get stripped to the captaincy.
You just want to see more.
Arteta. I want to see more. His decision-making has been bad. Yeah, when it's time to shoot, when it's time to pass, he's getting them the wrong way round. And if I'm honest with you, people are saying that he gave up on the penalty. I've seen him do that a few times. I don't think he did give up on the penalty. I think it was always going to be Saka. He normally is our penalty taker when he's on the pitch. And I think he tried to confuse. But I kind of, part of me in my head thinks, you're the captain, you're wearing the armband. This is your old club. You're in front of the fans that give it to you and all of us. Go put that penalty away and kill the game off. So I don't know where you're at with Odegaard in terms of his captaincy, leadership qualities and his performances, because for me, I need to see more, bruv.
I'm with you, man. And I don't want to go down the captaincy route, but it's for obvious reasons. We can see why Declan Rice is of the captain mentality. I'm sure you've seen on Twitter all the clips when we were walking out for the warm-up and Declan Rice is saying, don't be scared, and Odegaard isn't saying anything. I just want to see Odegaard. I do think it's one of those where people are bringing valid claims, but their frustrations into that game that they've had with Odegaard already, type of thing. I think he was better than he was in the first leg. I think he was much better in the second half. I don't know if he gave up the penalty. I'm like you. I more think it was to confuse, but he's having a rotten season, and I just think it's one where I'm not going to give up on him, but you need to get your form for next season, really, and try and do what you can this year. I just think it kind of is what it is. I kind of had the hope that he would be someone that would do well against Real Madrid. But yeah, it's the only thing I would say is he actually put power in an effort that he had in front of goal with his right peg. But like you said there, he's passing, generally his time in this season, he's passing backwards. He's doing those scooped passes that he can do with his eyes closed, but there's too much. He's either overhitting or underhitting. He's second guessing himself. He did play a key role in, if I can remember correctly, Saka's goal, and he did do well in that regards. But it's one where, it obviously is a good team performance, Dan, and we've done well in the two games. But if we were to pick apart some players, and some of it is circumstantial because of injuries, but we would say Lewis-Skelly, you'd say Kivior, you'd say Partey, you'd say Rice, you'd give Marino his credit, you'd talk about Martinelli, give or take, you'd obviously talk about half-fit Saka and whatnot. And the player that need to have had that kind of game or the fallout talking points would have been Odegaard. I know Odegaard's a quality player, but at this moment in time, you're probably only in the team generally because of what you do off the ball. It's not necessarily on it, but we need our captain. And he does, for Dan, it looks like one for me where, when your confidence looks so shot that if you just get one goal, it comes off your rear. I'm not saying he'll be amazing, but I think there'll be a dramatic improvement. But it's rotten luck for Odegaard, and you're gonna have to turn it. You're gonna have to turn it around, because I don't want to see Odegaard kind of have unfortunately, a Martinelli year or two where we're talking about the 2022-23 season, because we need to get back to it, man. It's a shame though, man. He's a good player.
He is a good player. I kind of agree with what Shane's saying here, though. Big up to Shane, man. Make sure you're following my guy Shane Gooner on his channel, bro. He said it's not one bad season for Odegaard. It's the other way around. He says the only season he's really had is the 2022-23 season. Now, let me come into more context of this, because I kind of feel like I've been done over a bit here, because when we signed him, I thought he would look like a very promising player. But when we were looking at that kind of attack-minded midfielder, James Maddison at Leicester was my option because he was absolutely balling out. Now, I know at Tottenham it's not worked out great, but that's his fault for going there, right? For me, when you look at Leicester, his stats were unreal. I think it was between 18 to 20 goals and assists in like 3 or 4 seasons that he was there. To be fair, at Tottenham, he's actually scored some goals and assists as well, but not at that level. And then in Odegaard, I said, look, why? The people kept saying to me, why do you want Maddison? He's crap, Dan. He's rubbish. Blah, blah, blah. I thought, well, listen, let's see what Odegaard does. He's definitely not crap, but he hasn't done as well at Tottenham, of course. But
thank the Lord.
Then Odegaard started banging him in. And I thought, right, there we go. Forget the Maddison thing then. I don't want Maddison. I want this guy. This guy's been unbelievable. And now I'm still waiting for him to do that again. And it's been another 2 seasons gone now. So when I look at his 28 games he's played for Arsenal this season, and he's got 2 goals and 4 assists, that's rubbish. Let's just say how it is. It's rubbish.
Edison got the same amount of assists, unfortunately, man.
Come on, man. Do you know, I said that.
He's better than that. He needs to fix up.
Right? It's coming back from Brentford, and there's rail replacements. I had to get buses and stuff. Waiting for the bus, and I said to my brother-in-law, I said, look at this stat. Edison's got the same amount of assists as Odegaard, or more assists than Odegaard. And the guy behind me was an Arsenal fan. Do you know what he said? He said, yeah, but Edison's played every game this season. I said, bruv, he's a goalkeeper.
I have some shame. Whoever said that, have some shame, man.
Goalkeeper.
Odegaard knows he needs to fix up, man. Like this, Odegaard, you're a good player, but that is disgraceful. And I feel we've got into a bit of a trap with Odegaard. Like, I've never looked at you to be a goal scorer, and I do think you've become a goal scoring midfielder. So people are looking to that. I more looked at you to kind of run the show. You get into the final third, but you're not scoring. You're not dictating the tempo. I do think where you look at the 2022-23 season, we was almost an anomaly. People didn't really know what we was doing. We've become a marked target. I do think because of the low blocks and our inability to do something about that, there is a bit of a tax that's applied on all our attackers. But you don't become a good or bad player overnight. I don't know what it is. Odegaard needs to fix up. You need to fix up. Like you said there, Dan, unfortunately, you've got the same amount of assists as Edison. The man's a goalie. Fair enough, City, but come on, man. Come on. Bro, come on. You're better than that.
Good shout from Ryan. If we do get that centre forward, I want to see what Odegaard's like. Because when he's had a striker in front of him, he's actually done a hell of a lot better when you look at it, to be fair to him. So, Saka,
yeah, don't you reckon, Dan, yeah? How far does that go? Like, obviously, good players will always play good with good players, right? And we all know we need a striker and unlock Odegaard and that. But don't you think it gets a bit scary and dangerous once we start getting into that scenario? Like what as much as we like Martinelli, we had that as well with Martinelli. We need the Xhaka replacement. He needs the inverted left back or the overlapping left back, which all of this is valid. Of course, football's about relationships. But at the end of the day, surely it's just about the player. We were saying, he needs Saka back. When Saka's back, the relationship, blah, 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 Saka's back. Fair enough, Marino might not be at the bee's knees up front, but he's showing he's in a purple patch. Before, like, surely as much as I like Odegaard, surely we've got to look at Martin. Like, there's something you need to do. I don't know if you're carrying an injury. I don't know if it's just a thing where it's just a rotten season. I don't know what is. I don't know if it's psychological. You're overthinking everything, but surely it's not about that anymore, man. Because over 2 legs, we've seen Partey and Rice do madness, and you should be the one we should be waffling about against Real Madrid the most, against all 3 of your team. Well, the 2 teammates you got in the middle of the park. So I just think he just has to. I just think this season's a write-off for Odegaard. He needs to get it together, but I genuinely just think it's a write-off. Like, it's just not going to happen right now.
No, I quite agree, if I'm honest. I don't think it's worked out for him, and there's been a handful of games where he started to get back into it. Funnily enough, 2 of the better games that I saw him play was when he first come back. I think Chelsea, he was one of our better players. Look, I've never denied his work rate. I've never denied that he gives 110. His press is unbelievable, but I've got to be real with him when I say that I think this season has been very, very underwhelming, if I'm honest, bruv. Let's talk about the other 2 midfielders, though, bruv, because they have not been underwhelming. Thomas Partey's been our best midfielder this season. Very silly for him to get a yellow card. I was disappointed, if I'm honest with you, from that.
Yeah.
But I've got to be honest with you, and I say that I think Declan Rice's 2 performances are 2 of the best individual midfield performances I've seen since the Patrick Vieira days at Arsenal. That's how good he has been. The free kicks were outstanding in the first leg, but I'm with you what you said earlier. I thought the second leg, he was an absolute monster and a menace. I've been so impressed by what I've seen from Declan Rice. And do you know what's mad? I've been flipping and flopping with Kenny Ken and others about where his best position is. I do believe still it's a 6, and I'm going to stand by that. However, I'm not saying he can't play there, because how can you say he can't play there when he's everywhere? And I don't actually know where his position was the other night. He was literally everywhere on the pitch. He covered every blade of grass. It was just an outstanding performance from him, man. So Partey and Rice, man, talk to me.
Partey, it's a shame that, you know, it looks like you're probably going to leave the football club, really. I don't know if you're going to sign a new deal. I don't know what our plans are in terms of recruitment, but Partey has a you know, a case to be our player of the season. There's a few, really and truly. Partey's been quality. It was quality across the two legs. The worst thing you can say is what you said there is, unfortunately, you've got the yellow card, and we're starting to do the mathematics. Is it going to be Jorginho? What is Arteta going to do there? I mean, Partey's temperament, they've complemented each other across both legs incredibly well. Declan Rice is Declan Rice. Of course, when you've just smashed in 2 free kicks, you've been amazing. I don't know actually if I preferred the performance at the Bernabeu, but I think I did. Yeah, he scored 2 free kicks, but he's up and down the pitch. He's talking his teammates through it. You've seen the kind of comments and videos in the tunnel and whatnot. Like, Declan Rice is just amazing. He's just everything you wanted and more, man. It's like we owe West Ham a lot more money. I'm not going to say Declan Rice is a complete midfielder, but I feel like he's becoming a more complete midfielder of what Declan Rice is. We all know ball winning, defensive, all of that stuff. He has that. We all know as well, in an Arsenal shirt, he's been taking set pieces and he's doing his thing in that regards, and actually both of them did well against Brentford in the draw. Declan Rice is just everything we wanted. That's what you spend £105 million for. I always get annoyed when people talk about players, yeah, because of course it's always nice to talk about what a player can do. But I just feel in this day and age, people don't judge footballers on what they are. And Declan Rice is never going to be the most prettiest of centre midfielders and whatnot, but he's bossed it. Tchouaméni, Bellingham, Valverde, this one, that one, then the third. They all were kept quiet. It's Declan Rice, Thomas Partey who have been held in highest regards. And as we know, it's football's decided in both ends. You need to score goals, you need to defend, but it's in the midfield. And those three, obviously we got inverted fullbacks and all of that, but our 2 midfielders in the engine room, Partey and Rice, they stood tall. That's what you want to see. And I'll be surprised if Declan Rice at some point doesn't captain this football club, if I'm honest.
Well, let's talk about that more, because the super chat's come in here saying from AMD, big up to you, says, people said I was crazy for saying that Declan should become our captain in the near future. He's literally everything you need in a leader. If I'm honest with you, bruv, I don't see him being a future Arsenal captain, because Odegaard's the same age as him and he is our captain. So it's not like Odegaard's going to throw that armband and go, don't want it anymore. Gabriel and Rice are the two that I would have picked as my captains. I would have put Gabriel before we signed Rice anyway as the captain, and Declan Rice as the vice, because then Gabriel at least is a couple of years older than Declan Rice. He might be able to pass the armband on one day. But I look at Declan Rice's performance in the home and away leg and think, yeah, that is a true leader and captain performance. And if I was to say to you who's the leader on this pitch without armbands being on there, I would point it at him and say that's the guy.
Declan, yeah.
Look, do you think there's any slim chance that there's an opportunity of a captain change at Arsenal, or do you just think Mikel Arteta won't do it?
I don't think he's gonna do it. You never know. Stranger things have happened, but it's definitely, if it was gonna happen, it's gonna have to happen in the off season, and it's not gonna happen now. And at the same time, yeah, Odegaard might be the captain, and we've spoken about Odegaard, and he does need to fix up. And a lot of what people are saying is valid. But at the end of the day, if you're a leader, you're a leader. Like we've seen Invincibles, we've seen many a team that's won stuff. You've got a captain, but if you've got something to say it. And that hasn't stopped Declan Rice anymore at this moment in time. Everybody here has played football. You know who to gravitate towards. We saw what Declan was doing. We saw what Magalhaes normally does. So yeah, you made a good point. They are the same age. Don't expect any of them to leave anytime soon. But it's not stopping Declan Rice being a leader anyways. Like, just keep doing what you're doing, Declan, in that case. And you've also got Bukayo as well.
Yeah, I've said before that I never ever poo-pooed the 5 captain situation with Emery. I didn't like it. I wanted 1 captain. But I think that was kind of worded incorrectly from Unai, if I'm honest.
The leadership group thing.
Exactly. We've got leaders in this team, was what he should have said, right? We don't have 5 captains. We've got a captain, but we've got leaders. We've got a vice captain, and it gets passed down the pecking order to these 5 individuals that we believe are leaders of the team. That's really the way he should have said it. So when I look at what we've got right now, Gabriel, Rice, Odegaard's in there, Saka. I'm probably going to put Saliba in there because he's impressed me in the last 2 games at big games. And then you can look at the experienced lads after that, like Jesus and Jorginho, if they're still on the pitch at that time, right? But they're the ones for me that are 100%, all of them, good enough to lead us forward. And that's why this first 11, we're so close, DG. We need that kind of squad now, that 4 or 5 players, which we'll touch on later in the show before we close. I do think that we're that close, man, to actually having
Flirting
a
with it, man.
solid. Yeah, and we've been flirting too long now, bruv. Yeah, we've wasted a lot of windows because we should be there now, and we're not. Which is why it's still time to deliver, but it should be time to deliver with a squad that's even stronger than this one because we've wasted a few windows and maybe got a few positions wrong and put money on areas that we didn't need to spend. So, that for me is what's become a little frustrating. But look, we can't move without talking about the back line because I thought every single one of them were outstanding. And I appreciate Saliba had a bit of a moment where the goal came from. I thought he was faultless until that point. Kivior was faultless the whole game. Thought he was outstanding. And the two fullbacks, I mean, you said it. They deserve all the praise. Both legs. This Lewis-Skelly kid is
Ridiculous.
sensational. I mean, the strength of the kid at 18. And Timber, I'm seeing performances that put him in the bracket of best in the world in his position right now. I don't know another fullback that does what he does. I know that Trent's
as all-rounded as Timber.
All round. There you go. Trent's brilliant going forward. Questions at the back. Hakimi, I think he's doing it, but is he doing it consistently on the same level as Timber in every single competition? I'm not too sure. So talk to me about this back four, man. They were outstanding the other night.
I mean, the back four is one thing, but the defensive ethos, like, yeah, we need to get over the line and we need to do things. But a lot of people have mocked Arsenal for being negative and low blocks and all of this stuff. There has to be a correlation between how we have fixed up defensively with us generally over the last 3 years, and obviously with the Madrid game, keeping clean sheets, being better defensively, having that kind of confidence to go to the Bernabeu and sit in shape and deal with stuff. And yeah, we know Kivior is not to the level of Gabriel Magalhaes, and there was concerns. And obviously, Kivior has stood up to be counted. You might not be Gabriel Magalhaes, but you've put your best foot forward. But also, it's testament to the system, how we defend from the front, how the wingers are helping the fullbacks, what our engine room that me and you was waffling about does, how Marino, anyone playing through the middle. So we needed that. And our defensive ethos is spot on. We know about our shape, and our back line stood up too. Clearly confidence. And one thing, I'm not going to say it's the thing I like the most for all the talking points, but Saliba makes an interception. Kivior is patting him. The same going for Lewis-Skelly. Like, you can see players that want to defend. During the Emirates era, that hasn't been the thing, really. We all know we would do it in the middle third and the final third. Defensively, we'd fall off. So big up everyone in that back four, especially the players that might not have been playing if people were fit. Kivior, big up yourself. I don't know if you've changed maybe Arsenal's thinking. Do we hold on to you? Have you put yourself in the shop window? Do you get more minutes if we need to rest Magalhaes? But two of the most important fixtures, you stood up tall, man. Timber's doing what he's doing. Lewis-Skelly, you're doing what you're doing. Saliba needed to be a leader, and he did. I know, like you said, he dropped a clanger, but over these 2 legs, he's been bloody fantastic. I mean, who knows? He probably made that mistake because Madrid have been linked with him, and he plans to stay in at Arsenal a couple of years, man. So it's probably all part of the process. And that speaks of, going back to what you said about how close we are. I know football's different, but Saka has missed a penalty. Saliba's dropped a clanger. We got no striker, really. We got a centre mid playing left back. Well, crazy things are happening. But, Martinelli's form's been on the floor. And we've managed to put in 2 results like that and go into the semi-finals. So imagine if we get the summer spot on. We get more quantity in terms of players. We add quality into this starting 11. All the things Mikel Arteta needs to address from a tactical front happens. Like finding a way to generally break down low blocks. I'm not going to say we'd be unstoppable, but, there'd probably be a couple of parades in North London on a more regular basis, man. Like, we're that close. Hopefully, Berta can do something, Dan, man.
Bruv, he needs to do something. And if I'm honest with you, mate, I've got confidence that this summer could be I'm reassured that we've got this guy in place now, is what I'm saying. I'm kind of hoping.
Fingers, everything crossed, man.
But from what we hear, it's looking pretty good, man. It really is. But look, man, I think everybody 100% has to hold a massive amount of appreciation. I think the fans were exceptional. I think the fans done their job home and away. Absolutely brilliant. And then I think the last person we have to bring up, bro, is the manager. Because
big up, Mikel Arteta
got everything right in the home and away leg. And I don't think we do give him enough praise sometimes. I've been very critical of him, and I think I've been justified in being critical at times, but certainly ain't going to be critical for him over the home and away leg in against Madrid, because he did everything I wanted him to do. He didn't go gung-ho. He didn't sit back. He didn't put 10 behind the ball. He got the balance correct. I think every department did their job. And I think the manager deserves a lot of plaudits for that, man. And I'll say, apart from the FA Cup win, this is his best night as an Arsenal manager. His best 100%. Achievement. So that's what I would say. And if I'm honest with you, he wins this Champions League, I'll take it back.
Get him a statue, man.
About him, man. Yeah, exactly.
Get him a statue. He deserves it.
Bruv, he would deserve it, man, 100%. I said to Cecil that I'd eat some humble pie next to his statue and take a picture of it with Turkish and Troops and Curtis and everyone that doubted him. So that's what I will do. Look, man, I hope we can win it. Let's move to that PSG and then Barca or Inter. How would you see these games going, and how do you think we approach these?
It's going to be a different game than the one at the Emirates against PSG, that's for sure. I'd imagine, well, I don't know. I imagine Mikel Arteta's press conference today will be asked about Jorginho. Naturally, the biggest, well, not the biggest talking point, but Thomas Partey. Does Jorginho come into the mix? Does he move Marino into midfield and then go with Trossard or something up front? I think it will be another tactical kind of battle. You've got Luis Enrique and Mikel Arteta. They're overthinkers. They've got players standing in certain positions. Both teams can hurt each other on the transition. Both teams play very well up from the back. PSG have been probably one of the most, if not the most, exciting side in Europe, really and truly, man. The only thing I would say is, from the two legs I've seen against Aston Villa, I do think they'll give us chances. I do think they have lapses in concentration defensively, and we have to take them. I actually think the game will be decided at the Parc de France because they had Liverpool camped in their own half. I wouldn't say Villa were camped in their own half, but it was a kind of one of those kind of games, man. So, yeah, we're so far, man. So close, but so far. Big up Don in the chat. Don, I saw your tweet going viral about, you know, Declan Rice at the Bernabeu, man. Dan was speaking about humble pie. He's going all around, mate. Make sure you're following Don, though.
Bro, hopefully Don's got himself a nice bit of cherry pie, because he already has to eat some humble pie because he had give us no chance against Real Madrid. Listen, I know it's tough for you, Don, losing to Legia Warsaw and shit in the Conference League. At least you went through, though, bruv. At least you went through. Make sure you win that Conference League, you know. Don't be losing to Fiorentina.
Yeah. Uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah, it's going to be like we lose to a Barcelona. It's a lot easier to take, as much as it's disappointing, than losing to a Fiorentina in a dusty Conference League, man. So just make sure that you do it, man, because, you know, you're a lot of confidence with it. Do you know there's a tweet as well from Don I saw today that said, "Thank God that Roman has sold this beautiful club to amazing owners." Oh, dear. Your owners are dusty, man.
Big up the Chelsea Cowboys, man.
Yeah, I mean, 1.5 million, and they can't, 1.5 bill, sorry, then they can't get into the top four, let alone win a title. Crikey. Here he is. At least he's a man about it.
At least, man. That's what it's about. We've all got humble pie. Like, I've got to eat some humble pie about Arsenal. I had confidence we wouldn't get embarrassed against Real Madrid, but I didn't think we'd go through. But
same, bro.
I'm happy to be proven wrong. Like, that's all that matters. My team doing what needs to be done.
Humble pie has been, man. My humble pie has been in freezers. It's come out and defrosted. It's gone back in freezers. It's gone to the fridge. It's gone warmed up, ready to eat. Then it's gone back in the freezer. Honestly, man, it's been hard with Arteta. It really has. It really has, man. Jordan with the super chat says, if we don't win the Champions League, is still Arteta out? Listen, I said if he wins the trophy at May that we'd keep him. If he doesn't, I'd remove him. So I've got to stay by that. Look, beating Real Madrid's fantastic, but it doesn't give him another 2 or 3 year contract. Let's just be real. He's staying whatever, Jordan. So whether you believe that he is going to go,
it's redundant.
It don't really matter, does it? What you want, he's staying here for another few years. And obviously with Andrea Berta coming in, we hope we have a good summer, man. So let's see what happens. Look, DG, PSG is going to be tough. If we put in a performance like we have home and away against Real Madrid, would you be quietly confident that we could do it and get to the final, bruv?
I mean, you're looking for your team to inspire you, innit? I know we're a good team. I know Arteta can set us up tactically, but also we're new to this kind of Champions League format under the gaffer. You put in a performance like that against Real Madrid across the two legs, where there's many things we've discussed that are very different. You've given me confidence that you can go out there and do what needs to be done. Now you can't get excited about Real Madrid. You got to earn the right to win. PSG is a difficult task, but we've sent a statement out that, okay, cool, we might be, quote unquote, the new kids on the block, but people should be scared of us. So let's go out there and try, man. I do think the game is, well, ultimately the game was decided at the Emirates against Real Madrid. I think the opposite will be true against PSG. I actually think we'll beat them at home. I think we need to take something from their place, man. I think the Parc de France is going to be a good test. We've seen their fullbacks, Hakimi and Mendes, so it'd be keen to see them against two very good wingers in us. Good battles all over the field, the midfield, the wingers against the fullbacks against the wingers. Yeah, man, it'd be interesting, bro. It'd be interesting. So yeah, man, bring it on.
It will be. I'm looking forward to it, bruv. I really am, and I hope and pray that we can do what is probably the unthinkable to some, and that's win the Champions League. I said I wanted the Champions League, bruv. That was the one I wanted ahead of the Premier League.
I'll be unbearable to win it.
It'd be unbelievable. Let me ask you this before we move. Do you think if let's say we're in the final, let's get ahead of ourselves. We're beating PSG, it's
Oh,
unbelievable. Scenes are amazing. Who do you want, Barca or Inter?
Barca. You saw what happened in '06, what we was 30 minutes away from. I give us more of a chance against against Barca. You know, they've got Yalmao and Rafinha and obviously Hansi Flick and stuff. But I just think they do the high line thing. We do the high line thing. They can go to sleep defensively. We've therefore got elements of that. I don't really want to play Inter because they limit the space. It feels like they're very hungry. Against Bayern Munich, whenever they need a goal, they kind of hit back immediately. They play with two strikers, which you don't normally see. Seems like Lautaro Martinez is in a great bit of form. They've got Barella. I just think Inter. Me and you have done a few streams while the Champions League's obviously been going on. I just think Inter has been a team that I've wanted to avoid. Although to be fair, just like against PSG, we did play well against Inter in the league phase. We did get done by a dodgy penalty. We did have our own. Didn't really have that many chances, but we did have chances. I'd rather Barca, man, but I do think if anything, it will be Inter in the final because I just think across two legs, Barca will get done, man. But I'd rather Barca. Hopefully, we get them.
I want Barca for obviously revenge from 2006, but I actually do believe we can get at them. I do believe that there's an opportunity for us to really hurt their defense. The problem is they've got an opportunity to hurt us, and they've got moments players: Rafinha, Yamal, Lewandowski still. Pedri, I think, is probably one of the best, if not the best midfielder in the world. I think he's that good. As for Inter Milan, I think they've probably got one of the best eights in Barella and probably one of the best defenders in Bastoni and in Inzaghi that really frustrates the life out of me because he's so good tactically.
And they've been burnt before as well.
Mad that, yeah, I mean, I was speaking to Dan from Chelsea, BDB Dan, big up to him. He was saying that Arsenal could actually go through playing two teams they've already played to win this competition in PSG and Inter. And you're right, we could. You know, we've got PSG now. If Inter Milan are in the final, that means we actually already know what we're coming up against. We've already had to at least coach ourselves against them already. So maybe that's an advantage. I don't know. I think Northside and Lee and Aaron last night made a really good point as well in relation to Arsenal. Yeah, big up to them, man. Arsenal losing away first and then not being able to go through at the Emirates has actually been something that we've consistently kind of done in the Europa League and Champions League, right?
The away goes away.
Yeah, there was only Bayern Munich last season where we had it first and then away leg second where we went out. So yeah, I kind of believe that maybe it could be a good thing for us against PSG. In the final, don't matter. It's one game off, roll the dice, see what happens. But I just want to get there first, man. So we'll have to see what happens there, bro. Have to see what happens there. Look, we do revert back to Premier League this weekend. We've got Ipswich. I'm going to the game. It's literally about 20 minutes from me because I'm an Essex boy, so it's nice.
Yeah.
So it's across the border of Suffolk.
Finally, an easy one to get to.
Yeah, it is, Nate. It is. It's nice, bro. Look, if I'm honest, don't really know what to expect with the Premier League games. Where are you at with it? And would you start to kind of rest players and just ensure they're fit for the Champions League games now?
I mean, you've got to be like that. I do think we need to keep winning because you don't want to get drawn into a top four battle or a battle where we lose second. You know, Newcastle are quietly creeping. As much as it's great to be in Champions League mode, Brentford was kind of like a bit bringing it down to reality kind of thing. And I just want to keep winning for momentum purposes. Ipswich are going down, but they're trying to go down with pride. But yeah, you do have to, I wouldn't say throw the league or anything, but now you kind of have to be cute and clever because God forbid, you don't want any more injuries to this side. You don't want to hear anything more about setbacks. But then at the same time, Dan, who the hell can we play? Do we just play some kids now? Do we give more of an opportunity? Against Ipswich, I wouldn't mind seeing Kieran Tierney start. I think the back four beyond that, if that was to be the thing, wouldn't change. So, yeah, man, I just want to keep winning the game. But I'd imagine there's going to be several changes. Who that's going to be, I don't know. You'd imagine the Sterlings, the Zinnies, the Tierneys, these kind of guys could potentially play. A hot take, but I actually think if we get to the final of the Champions League, I don't know why I believe this, but I think Kai Havertz will be in that squad in some capacity. I really don't know why I believe that. But, yeah, man, we have to just focus.
You probably believe it because it's probably going to be true from what we hear.
Yeah, that as well.
To the final, I think if you relate what Saka's length of time was to Havertz, he'd probably be back for that final if these got the same recovery rate as Saka, they were saying. So there could be an opportunity. For me, we don't start Kai Havertz in the final, whatever.
No, you're definitely not starting.
We might use him or utilize him in some way, and maybe it's a good sub to bring on if he's fully fit. I think it would be. However, yeah, I think for now let's just make sure we get through PSG in the Premier League, bro. Obviously, second place to like 6th or 7th is actually fairly close, to be fair. If we do take our eye off of it completely, do you think there's a kind of danger that we slip towards a top 4 battle or top 6 battle? Like, is it massively important that we remain into that top 5 for you? Or does it really matter where we come to you? Like, where are you at, bro?
100% it matters. Now, there's nothing to brag about finishing second. Unfortunately, second place is first loser. But, the same people that would sit there and say, oh, it doesn't really matter where you finish, etc. If we go from second to wherever we could mathematically finish if it went left, they would still get onto us. So let's just try and maintain second. Let's just simply put win games. You just mentioned you're going to the game. People are all around the country are still following this club up and down the country and playing their hard-earned money in tough times to support the club. So we owe it to them. These players are winners. We naturally want to keep some sort of momentum. And crucially, as you said there, we can't get drawn out into any Champions League race. Like, there's no need for that. Let's just keep winning our games. But I do think, admittedly, with Real Madrid, even me myself that wants to compete for both in both competitions, even someone like myself, then I'm starting to kind of not check out from the league, but it's almost like make as many changes as you want, Arteta, wrap the key players in cotton wool, and let's just throw all the eggs into the PSG/Champions League basket. Might as well. That's the only thing we've got to play for now, really. Well, it is.
Facts. No, I totally agree. Yeah, all the eggs in the basket of the Champions League. It sounds nice when we say that, brother, if I'm honest, because as much as I'd like to be fighting for a league title, at least now we can concentrate just on that because we know the league title is done. In fact, if we don't beat Ipswich and they beat, I think it's Leicester, they won the league, Liverpool. So look, they're going to win it either this weekend, next weekend, or the weekend after. So for me, it's done and dusted. And I'm frustrated by it. I'm not going to lie. I've kind of over ranting and raving about it. I'm not as angry as some now. But it's kind of done for me, man. Look, I wanted to ask you for the last few minutes on Andrea Berta coming in and what Arsenal summer could potentially look like, because we know that we've got the Champions League to concentrate on, but it'll be new competitions next season, and I want to go on all 4 fronts next year, man. I've been trying to do that for a long time. Jurgen Klopp was able to do it. Pep's able to do it. This is what Arsenal should be trying to do now. In order for us to do that, bruv, we're going to need some players to be brought in. What are you hearing? How many positions are you looking at strengthening, and what sort of a job has Berta got, bruv, on his hands?
Berta's got a massive job. I can't, as much as I'm excited with, what we could do in the champs, and as frustrated as we are, we've been flirting with success. I don't know how much one man can change in a matter of months in terms of, we've probably every club, like from the last summer window closed, everybody's starting to kind of dot I's and cross T's. So is it a thing where he just comes in, sees deals over the line? Is it one where he just has to soak up information, learn about the club and its practices, kind of see what everybody's doing and then act from there? But I do want some statement signings, man. Like, I love world-class and top-class players, but for me, get a striker I genuinely believe is going to score 20-odd goals in the league to go with Bukayo Saka. Get us another left wing option. Like, at the very minimum, just improve the starting 11. Now, as you crucially said there, we need quantity as well as quality, and it has to overlap. Could you imagine in an ideal world, we're fresh off beating Madrid, we're talking about PSG, and then these 2 Brentford and Ipswich games that we've played / about to play on Sunday, they're must wins because we could go above Liverpool and stuff. That's the realm we want to be in. Like, everyone can say if and when everybody's fit, but in football that doesn't happen. And when you look at the 19-man squad, who is really durable? Injuries happen to everyone, and our more durable players have been injured this season. But it's not going to surprise people, unfortunately, if Tierney gets injured, if Zinchenko gets injured. From what we've seen with Tomiyasu and Calafiori, with them, with Gabriel Jesus, we need a bigger squad. So, bro, I'm hoping he just gets something over the line, man. I would love to see Gyökeres in particular. I'm past the point of caring about Gyökeres, Sesko. I just want a striker, but Gyökeres would be more up my street and would make me think, wow, because he's 26. That's kind of win now mode. We're trying to do what we need to do. So I would say, Berta, can you just make some statement signings? But I also do think, Dan, there is again going to be a remit on sorting out wages and probably selling people. I think, well, they're gone anyways, but Jorginho and Partey are probably gone. Keen to see what we're doing with Zini, who's on 150 grand a week. Trossard, we hear he's not got a new deal. He's got one. What's going to happen there? Is there going to be an unpopular sell? How are we going to navigate around these things? And I would say the one away from that, Lewis-Skelly, Wanyeri, Saka, Magalhaes, and there's someone else, a big player, which, forgive me, I'm missing out, but give them all new deals. So it's a big summer, man. Big summer. And bring them in early if you can. I know I'm asking a lot, but please, man. I just feel he's got something about him, like some sort of aura, Dan. I don't know why. Never had a conversation with him. But there's just something serious about him, man. Like, he just looks like he's going to do what needs to be done.
Look, I'm with you in terms of his aura, and there's definitely some excitement. I'm reassured that we've got him in now, and I don't think you are asking too much there to bring in players and make sure it's early. I think that we will. I mean, it looks like we're already linked with some names already. I'll tell you what I think will happen. What I would love to happen would be that we bring 6 or 7 faces in, and it's like, wow, we've got a brilliant squad now. But I think what will happen is this. I think we'll bring in 5 players. I think we'll bring in 2 squad players. Those squad players positionally will be a goalkeeper and a defender. And I think the 3 players that after that we bring in will all start. I think one of them will be a midfielder, one of them will be a left winger, and one of them will be a striker. That's what I think will happen. So whether it's Zubamendi, Williams, and Gyökeres that start, and we bring in Yoel Harto and Joan Garcia as the backups, feeling like that could be the sort of summer that we have. Now, hopefully we do more than that, and hopefully we bring in, cover for every position. But I think we need to be kind of realistic with that. Probably looking at a creative midfielder as maybe the only blank space that might be if we bring those
I think
5
Fabio
in.
might stay, I don't know why. I just think he might be someone that gets to hang around.
I don't know who wants him, bruv. That's the problem.
That's why.
Yeah. I don't know how well he's done at Porto. I don't think he's been bad. I think he's got a couple of player of the match performances and a couple of assists, but I don't think it's been anywhere near the level that when we bought him over there. Maybe Fabi Vieira stays and we get Ethan for back up to Saka.
Yeah.
And that's how we cover those positions. And that for me would be a little bit deflating. However, Ethan definitely is not deflating, but Fabio Vieira kind of is, because I'd like an Alex Baena or a Cunha or a Eze, somebody like that coming in instead of a Fabi Vieira personally. But I don't know how much money we've got, bruv. They're saying we've got 300 million. If we sign Gyökeres and we sign a Williams and we sign Zubamendi, that's a couple of 100 mil near enough already. And then you've got to try and spend the rest of it to cover your goalkeeper and defenders. So,
and how much selling before buying and buying before selling? There's a lot of moving parts, man. I don't know how you're going to play this.
There is moving parts because the squad's quite big as it stands, but that's why we've got Berta in, man, because he's got to do the job. And hopefully, it's not like we bought someone without no experience, that's for sure. So hopefully we've got the reassurance that we'll be okay. Because it's going to be a mad summer, bruv, if I'm honest with you.
It needs to be.
Yeah, it really does need to be, man. I can't lie. It really does need to be. But listen, DG, it's always a pleasure, my bro. Make sure you do me a favor, people. Hit the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure that you're following DG as well. What's your next target, DG?
Trying to get 70,000, man. I think we got 65,000 and some change, man. So big up everyone who's part of the journey, man. And make sure you're supporting Dan and myself, man. No one works harder than this guy. It's always a pleasure to not only make content with this guy, but also we finally just got something to be positive about. Me and you have done the whole Mikel Arteta, this player, that player, tactics, board. So it's nice, man. The sun's shining. We're talking about PSG. If only this was a minimum at the club, eh? It's not an easy club to support, but I love it, man.
Bruv, we love it. And unfortunately, sometimes it ain't good times. Right now, it's a good time to be a gooner, people. Hit the like and subscribe. We're out of here. We'll see you next time. Latest, people.
Peace.